Hey everyone, I'm your host Natalie Bodie. On the show today is a true journeyman of the NBA. After making a name for himself at Tennessee, he carved out a nearly decade-long NBA career with teams like the Warriors, Bulls, and Pacers. Please welcome the one and only CJ Watson to the show. So CJ, I want to start with, the draft just happened. So I wanted to start with some stuff that's trending right now because I want your take on it. 10-year NBA vet Ace Bailey having a preferred destination. I believe it was picks 6, 7, and 8, I want to say. I know that it was New Orleans, Brooklyn, or I believe the last one is he wanted to go to Washington, D.C., be with the Wizards. He gets selected by the Utah Jazz. What's your perspective on that entire situation? Because right now I'm seeing a lot of players speak negatively on it and think it's a form of entitlement.
I think so a little bit too. I think I look at it from both sides. I definitely think that, if you're a top 5, maybe top 1 pick, but he wasn't the first pick, so you can't really have that luxury to pick where you want to go. But like I said, I think this day and age, players are wanting to have more say-so in where they go, what they do, and also agents are fighting for that spot too. But I definitely think it's a little bit of entitlement. Like, you haven't done anything yet. You only played 1 year in college. It wasn't like you guys won the national championship or something like that. So I definitely think he has a little bit bad advice, and he has a lot to learn.
Which I'll say this, I think Rutgers had 2 top 5 picks.
Yeah.
And they didn't make the tournament.
But they're really good, though.
How does that happen?
Those 2 dudes are good.
How does that happen, though?
It's just they went, I feel like a lot of this day and age, these players are teaming up together and wanting to go. And they know they're probably going to leave early, too. So it was kind of wherever they went, they're going to leave early. So it doesn't really matter.
I also saw some conversation around the draft of people saying, like, these guys don't react how they used to. There used to be a lot more emotion. And people joke around. They're like, yeah, all their dads were also in the league and they grew up with pools, or they already made millions in college, so they don't care. Do you think NIL has changed that level of gratitude for being drafted?
I definitely think it changes everything. It changes the way you think about basketball. Like, I'm sure if I was getting paid $100,000 in college, I would have a little different aspect or look at it, outview on it. But I definitely think it's changing it. I think players should be paid. But I definitely think there's a limit. But like I said, there's no limit to what players are about to make in the NBA with all these new TV deals and stuff like that. So we just gotta advise kids better, and hopefully they do the right things with the money. That's my biggest thing. Like, you can't just give kids money and think they're supposed to do the right things. We got to teach them to do the right things. So.
That's the scary part, too, because getting handed that much money, and NBA money is different up front.
Yeah.
And you're 20 years old, and you get, it's like 50, 60 million for some of these rookie deals, right?
Yeah, but it's not like up front, though.
Right.
You get it like, once a month or whatever, or twice a month. But
the signing bonus, though, it's at least a couple million, right?
I don't know. I wasn't drafted, so I can't even speak on that.
I got to look back up, but I saw some of the numbers, like for Cooper Flag especially. But I want to get into your journey. I want to start even before going undrafted in 2006. What was the first memory that you had of picking up a basketball and really falling in love with the game?
Just playing with my dad and my brother in the front yard. Like, all my parents were athletes. My aunts and uncles were athletes, student athletes. So kind of sports just ran in our family. So just doing that, playing with my parents, and me and my brother getting in fights about who won, who lost, who cheated, stuff like that. So I think that was the biggest memories, and just playing with my cousins and playing with my friends on the block.
So you grew up here in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Was the dream always go to Bishop Gorman, win some state championships?
No.
Not at all?
That wasn't the dream. At least not for me. I think my parents had a dream for me before I even had a dream. So my parents wanted me to go to Gorman. They obviously knew that Gorman was probably the best school academically and for sports. So it was kind of like a best of both worlds. Kids would ask me in the 8th grade where I was going to school. I was like, I don't know. Ask my parents. So they really had the foresight and all that kind of stuff. So. But yeah, it was the dream was never to make it to the NBA. I just played basketball, honestly, to stay out of trouble, number one, and to also help my parents financially, because I know they couldn't pay for college. So that was my whole dream of trying to play basketball. And actually, when I thought I was good at it, I was like, hey, I can really do this. So let's try it out.
What age did you have that thought of, I can really do this? I'm better than everyone else.
Honestly wouldn't say I was better than everyone else. I just had a different work ethic. I think my work ethic was just undeniable. I wanted it more. I wanted to be good for my parents, like I said, for my family, and just start a tradition or a legacy.
You were named Gatorade Player of the Year in Nevada twice, back to back. Was that a big boost to your confidence? Is it confidence you already had knowing that you were an elite player, or did that affirm it in a different way?
My junior year, I did not think I was going to win it. It just happened. My junior year, we lost in the championship. And I only cried from basketball 2 times ever. I already cried 2 times ever in my life. One from losing the state championship my junior year, and then the second time when my grandma passed away. It's the only times I cried, and the only time I cried was because we lost, and I was crying for my seniors because they couldn't come back and play. I had another year to come back and play, and so that's kind of what motivated my senior year to come back and really just dominate and kind of win another state championship.
Wait, you've only cried twice in your entire life?
Yeah, what is there to cry for?
Your whole life?
Yeah.
Tears twice?
Christ, yeah.
Okay, so like when you were a newborn, we don't count that, but this is like when your memory starts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I cried like, when I was younger, but I don't really remember that kind of stuff.
That's crazy.
What I'm saying now as a adult, as a teenager, stuff like that, I remember those times, but it's only death and basketball. That was the only time.
Did you try to cultivate like an even keel mentality, or is that just natural to you?
I think it's just been natural, just the way I grew up, and just the way my parents and family raised me. So just to be tough and I guess not hold stuff in, but just kind of kind of mask it, I guess.
So you got the gear on. You end up choosing Tennessee to go to college. What was that process like? How did you land on the Vols?
So it was different. I was actually going to commit to UCLA. That was like my dream school to go to, but Coach Lavin got fired right before I was going to take a visit and commit. So then I opened up back recruiting, and it was like Oregon, Tennessee, Fresno State, a couple other schools, and Tennessee was like the main one that really offered me everything. They were the first one to call, and my family was from Nashville. My parents moved to Vegas and a couple years before I was born. So that kind of was like my safe haven, like saying, hey, if I ever need anything, my parents or my family, my sister, my grandma, aunts and uncles were 2 hours away. So it was kind of like more like home pretty much.
I feel like SEC basketball is a lot more respected now than then. Would you say that's true?
I feel like it's always been tough, honestly.
It's always been, but maybe it's getting more attention now.
It's getting more attention because now more teams are in the tournament. But back then, like every team was tough. Every night I was going against a top point guard in the country, and I was a freshman, so it was tough for me. And I was only like 165 soaking wet, like as a point guard, which was not good in the SEC because they were all 200 pounds. So it was fun though.
During that time, how do you deal with the transition? Because the game obviously goes up a level. You more's required of you. Even if you're young, it doesn't matter. Everybody gets on the court and it's the same, so that's not an excuse. How did you evolve into that role there?
I mean, I had great teammates. I had Ron Slade, John Higgins. I had a lot of veteran teammates and veteran coaching staff. And they really just gave me the keys like from day one. So I knew day one I was going to start, I was going to play. It was really up to me just how bad I wanted it, how bad I wanted to compete. And how bad I wanted to, make a name for myself, because that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to come in and just come off the bench and, just not be productive. I wanted to really shine. So,
was it hard to focus at Tennessee playing
No.
basketball there? Do you think that's a place where it's actually a little bit easier to lock in
No,
Knoxville?
because we were the number one party school in the country at the time. Because at the
Wait,
time,
what?
Yeah, at the time football was still good, or they're still good now, but they were like I think maybe top 5 every year. So it was a party school for sure. When school's in season, it's nothing but a party school, like any college, I'm sure.
But it wasn't a problem for you. Like, you could easily keep your focus.
Yeah, 'cause I never went out even in high school. I went to maybe 2 house parties ever, and Gorman had all the house parties, but I never really went to any. My parents would let me. So yeah, I didn't really go out that much. I started going out a little bit, but not enough to where I was like, yeah, this is a distraction. It was like I was just focused, and I wanted to like I said, I didn't want to put any smut on my family's name, so I wanted to really get my degree and do all that kind of stuff and be good. So
Sounds like you have a lot of discipline. That's one area that I think a lot of athletes falter, and we hear about people that, they could have been incredible, but all these distractions got in the way. Do you credit that to your upbringing? Is it like a nature versus nurture thing? Is that just who you are innately? What would you say that comes from?
yeah, it's a little bit of both. Definitely my parents had a lot to do with it. Like I said, they were strict. I feel like they were more strict with me than my brother. They were not strict at all. They let him do whatever. But like I said, but yeah, it's like I said, discipline was the main thing, and that's kind of why I went to Tennessee too. And I went far away too, just to get away from my parents, to see if I could do it on my own. And like I said, I've taught myself to do that.
So you finished as Tennessee's second all-time leader in assists and steals. Sounds like you got pretty decent national recognition. How do you go undrafted doing that in the SEC?
I don't know. That's crazy to me too. Actually, I was a lot of people don't know this. My coach got fired my junior year, so I was gonna enter the draft my junior year, and but the new coach Bruce Pearl convinced me to stay. Told me that his system would be way better. He's a up and down running gun type of guy. which is the system that I like to run. So I really thrived in his system. So it was a good thing that I stayed in. But still didn't get drafted. But I definitely think it's all in God's plan, and kind of helped me to really pursue my dream.
Bruce Pearl's still around. He's still
Bruce is still killing it.
right. One of the best coaches. Did that surprise you at all,
No,
or
no.
did you expect that after playing?
Yeah,
under him?
Bruce has always been good, man. Great. He's a player's coach. He's a guy you want to play for. He has your back. I got inducted to the Southern Nevada Hall of Fame here, and he did an interview for me, which was pretty cool of him. He didn't have to do it, so he gets all my love. So
That's amazing. You end up going to Europe in the D League, though,
Mm-hmm.
right after that. What was your mindset during that grind?
just to get better, to learn how to be a professional, to learn how to work on things that all the GMs and the presidents said I needed to work on, and also just to kind of just find myself. I was really bored over there in Italy. I was pissed I was there because I stayed in my apartment the whole time. Like, I would go to practice. I would not go out and sightsee or anything like that, like I did later in my career when I went overseas. But I was just depressed and just pissed I didn't get drafted.
So you said earlier that the NBA wasn't the dream when you were growing up. But at this time, when you're in Europe, did the focus change? Like, I'm going to get to the league?
Yeah, because I wanted to quit basketball a couple times. My parents just convinced me not to quit. I was in Greece at the time, and it was around my birthday month, I think, in April, and my parents were visiting me, and I was like, basketball just wasn't going good for me. I had a different coach every month. They got fired, so I was just like, I'm gonna quit, and go do something else, get a job, and figure it out. And then my parents were like, no, this is what you want to do. You came too far, so don't quit. So that was kind of like my wake up call right there.
What was the so that sounds like maybe that was a turning point, is them encouraging you. So many players, they go compete overseas, but they don't get an NBA career, much less a 10-year NBA career like you did. What do you think was a difference maker for you? How did you make that jump to the league, and also what evolved in your game to enable it?
Just I think evolving at the right time, being in the right time, the right place. I think getting to the NBA, whether drafted or undrafted, is all about timing in situations. At the time, I was in the D League. My decision to go to the D League was like, I don't want to go back overseas because the first time was just terrible. So let's try this D League out, and I'm going to go in there and kill it, and I did. And then at the time, there's two teams that called me up at the same time, actually, Golden State Warriors and the Charlotte Bobcats at the time. And the Hornets or the Warriors pulled the trigger first. So, like I said, it's a perfect system for me, running gun. Coach Nelson plays everyone from rookies to vets, and he lets you just go out there and shine. If you can play, you can play, and he kind of pushes that confidence in you.
What was your reaction when you got that 10-day contract, right, with Golden State?
Yeah.
How did that feel in that moment? I mean, you said that you're not a super emotional guy, but
Yeah.
did something hit you like, this is my chance?
Yeah, so I was in the D League in the locker room at the time when my agent called me with my other teammates on the D League, and I got the call and told them they were probably the first ones to know. And they just told me, don't come back, man. And I said, I'm not. So that was my motivation, because I wanted to play for those guys. Those guys didn't get a shot, so I wanted to make them proud. Playing on the same team with them, and seeing guys grind every day, day in and day out, and not get a chance. So I wanted to make that chance respectable.
So I read that you had a 40-point game against Sacramento.
Yeah.
What do you remember from that night?
That night, I think someone got traded that night during halftime on the opposite team. But I do remember it was a good night for me personally. And like I said, all the work I put in, night in, early nights, late mornings. So it was cool to see all the work come to fruition.
So I had a mentor in college who worked for the Lakers for a while, and he would always tell me, Natalie, if you go work in the NBA, if you're around that league, it's different. It's different than the NFL. Everything is different. And he meant it in a distractions, money, partying concept.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to get you a new Bible. We're going to have a conversation, and we're going to go from there. So it sounds like up to this point in your career, you were really able to handle the temptation to party. You were locked in and disciplined. How did that continue once you got to the league?
I don't know if I had to handle it. I think when I went to the Warriors, having teammates like Steven Jackson, which is probably not a good mentor. He'd probably laugh at that, but yeah, it was fun. Like I said, just learning from those guys. I mean, you do go out, you do party, but you just gotta keep it to a limit and not let it become a distraction, like you said. And because sometimes it can take a hold of you, and that's why you see some guys who maybe have short careers. Maybe they did something wrong, or maybe wasn't enough up to the lifestyle that this NBA brings you. So and can really adjust to it.
So once you got to the league, you did let yourself kind of party and have some fun, though?
Yeah, because I
Little.
mean, I wanted to hang out with the teammates. You want to create that bond with the
Mm-hmm.
guys, you know. So you don't want to be the one that's at the house just they're talking trash about you behind your back or whatever. So you want to try to have that bond or whatever. So like I said, I didn't go all the time, but I went on enough.
So you signed with the Bulls in 2010. What was your favorite part about that experience?
Just getting on that team, we were all, I feel like underdogs, even coming from D Rose, with him being the number one pick. We all had a lot to prove to each other. New coach, a lot of new teammates. We all didn't expect to be that good, but as the time went along, we saw how great we could be. And that's kind of what I remember. In the fan base, in the city, Chicago's crazy. I love it.
So I remember those 2012 playoffs. You had to step up in
Yeah.
D Rose's place after that injury.
Yeah.
I was watching that on TV. I remember that was a big storyline. What was your mindset during that, handling that type of pressure? Did you feel it? Did you feel ready to seize the moment? What were you thinking?
Yeah, I felt ready. I mean, I didn't feel like it was a lot of pressure. I just had to go in and be myself. I feel like once you're backing up a star guard like that, everyone thinks that they're going to compare you to him or what happened or what could be if he were here. So I just tried to go in there and be myself. I mean, that season we all were injured, everybody. So me, Joakim, Luau, D Rose. I mean, everybody was injured. So we all played through injuries, and it was just I think sometimes I step in, I did great, and then I think the playoffs I didn't really do that good actually. So it's not the greatest, but it's fine.
You had your moments, though, where you stepped
Yeah.
up and you stepped up big. But at that point, like you said, when everybody's injured and you're at that point of the season,
Yeah.
sometimes you probably can barely get through. You're like, I know the whole team is battered right now.
Yeah, you just gotta fight through, but you can't have any excuses. Like I said, I wouldn't change anything for it, but it was definitely a great experience.
Do you have a favorite memory from your time in Chicago?
I think I hit a game winner, or I tied the game up, and then against D Wade and the Heat and LeBron, right before the playoffs started, and that was like a big moment for us. It was for the number one seed, so it was a big game and a big moment for us.
That team, growing up watching that Miami team, I hate it. I was a Spurs fan.
Yeah, I still don't like LeBron to this day because the Tibbs made us all hate everybody, every other team.
Really?
Like, we couldn't shake nobody's hands. He didn't want us shaking nobody's hands. Like he thought that was like a sign of weakness,
So
which I could see.
that's
but,
what he would say in the locker.
yeah.
Like he would tell you guys, don't.
Yeah, don't fraternize with other players. Like I mean, which I understand to a point, but yeah, I mean, I still don't like LeBron to this day. But he's great. He's a great player, but sometimes he makes me mad that we could have won a championship.
So if he would, like, if you saw him again, would you shake his hand?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, always.
Okay.
I've seen him several times before, but yeah, just that that mindset that Tibbs had us in was good. Like I said, it had us focused and wanted to win.
Just because we brought him up, is LeBron James the greatest player of all time?
I mean, the stats say he is, but I mean, my goal is still Jordan and then Kobe and then LeBron. But I definitely think he has to keep moving up. If he wins another championship, I think he can be, to me, one of the greatest. He's the greatest of this time.
That's the issue, though, is the eras.
Yeah,
It is sort of a tired conversation,
Yeah.
but it's always going to happen.
Right,
It's always going to happen. But I do think the eras just make such a big difference when it comes to really dissecting that and comparing Jordan and LeBron, because the game has evolved.
Yeah.
All the players have gotten better.
Yeah.
Everyone's bigger, faster, stronger.
Yeah.
It's just different.
Yep.
But so you signed with Brooklyn in 2012. What was your role with that Nets team during that time?
To come off the bench and just be a spark. Once again, playing behind another all-star type point guard, which was fun. I actually knew D. Will from before. We played on the USA team freshman year in college, so he was my roommate actually, which is crazy.
Oh,
He's the
wow.
one that called me and recruited me to come to Brooklyn. So small worlds. But I loved Brooklyn. I hated the city of New York when I always visited there. So living there was just different for me. But I actually got to respect the culture in the city and stuff like that. So it was cool living there.
Why didn't you like living in New York?
It was just too much traffic all the time. I hated the traffic and the people, the trash on the side of the street. It just stinks. But I like the grind of New Yorkers and all that kind of stuff. So.
The media in New York, obviously it's the number one market in the country, sports, TV, whatever. Is it really as bad as everybody says, the media scrutiny around the team?
I don't know if we have that much scrutiny because we were no one thought we could make to the playoffs again. So we were just a first-year team transitioning from Jersey to Brooklyn. So I didn't really feel like it was that bad. Maybe I wasn't like a superstar to understand it. So, but it didn't seem as bad as maybe like Chicago or something like that.
Yeah, I could see expectations definitely playing a role in that. You go to the Pacers next, though. It's 2013.
Yep.
So what was most memorable about that time?
I think getting to the Eastern Conference Finals again, and once again a young team, some vets here and there, D West, George Hill, first year second year coaching Frank Vogel. So just trying to prove people wrong once again, and having that underdog mentality, especially in a small market like Indiana. But they did great this year. So, but yeah, it was just it was fun. Once again, we lost to a guy named LeBron in the Eastern Conference Finals. So. Once again, he shut us down.
I can see where your vengeance comes from. I see. We're going through the timeline.
Right,
I get it. What was your reaction? Let me start here. Do you still watch a lot of NBA? Because I know it can go either way for athletes once they're retired, if they want to or not.
I watch a lot of the big games. Like I watch a lot of games.
Okay, so you watched the finals then?
Yeah, for sure.
So how thrilled were you for the Pacers?
I was happy for him. I actually took my daughter to Game 4, so it was cool to see the atmosphere of a finals. Like I said, I've never been to a finals and never really been to any NBA games as a fan. So that was one of my first games to go as a fan and just check out the game and be a fan. So to hear people in the crowd talking trash and complaining and, going to the concessions, like I never did that before. So it was cool to do that.
You've played for a variety of teams, small markets, big markets. When people have that discussion, what do you think are some of the main differences between a small market NBA team and a larger market NBA team?
Just the sponsors. I feel like the publicity that they get, and also the superstars that's on that team. I feel like, but yeah, I think. Like I said, I don't know if Halliburton's a superstar, but he's one of the best players in the league, all-star, and he brings a lot to that team.
I think Halliburton's probably considered a superstar now.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
There's only 5 superstars in the league. Name them.
Okay, you name all. Let's hear them.
LeBron, Steph, KD, Giannis, Joker.
The issue with that, though, is that a lot of those guys you mentioned, probably 3 of the 5, they're getting older.
But they're superstars, so they still demand a lot of attention.
I don't disagree with that. Once you just rattle them off, I could see that. But I do think, and this is a popular sentiment I hear a lot, that stars are made in the playoffs and they're made in the postseason. And I feel like Halliburton's definitely getting to that level. It doesn't help that he's with a smaller market.
Yeah.
But people on social media love him too. So that's the other side of it is he's on TikTok, and people that might not even watch basketball, they're on his TikTok. And he's got that part figured out as well.
Yeah, I definitely think he's a star. And I think there's a whole bunch of things that go into it, like to be a superstar. But I only think there's 4 or 5 legit superstars in the league. Everyone else can be a star, but you're not a superstar.
I wouldn't disagree with that. What was your reaction this summer with the Mavs, Lakers, the trade that went down?
Yeah, it was crazy. I thought, just like everybody else, I thought Luka was one of the untouchables, like a superstar. Luka's a superstar too.
I was gonna say you didn't name him.
I forgot him. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, well, maybe I thought, hey, look, maybe he's just outside your top 5.
No,
Is he 6?
No. He's in there for sure. But yeah, I thought it was crazy. I thought he was untouchable, and I don't really believe in conspiracy theories, but there's a whole bunch of going around that. All the things that happened and why they traded them and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, to go to a franchise like the Lakers is you can't get much bigger than that.
So you don't believe the conspiracy theories?
I do a little bit. I mean, if it's true, it's true. We don't have any truth, but the facts lead up. Facts don't lie.
I saw this, not my opinion, just one I saw. That trade never coming to the open market.
Yeah.
The team being sold shortly after. The Mavericks getting Cooper Flagg, #1 overall pick. 2 small market teams end up in the finals. Somehow it goes to 7. Some might say things add up for the conspiracy theorists.
You never know. I mean, hopefully one day we'll find out.
It does sketch me out a little bit, though, that I think the NBA is one of the leagues that there have been some refs that have come out and, they've had there's documentaries on Netflix. There's all that stuff.
Yeah. So it's crazy.
The theorists have a lot of material right now.
Yeah.
So we talked about the Pacers making the finals, small market team obviously getting that chance. Did a little part of you, I know you've been a part of a lot of teams, but did a little part of you feel for Indiana and be like, if they could get a win, I would love that for the city?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely wanted them to win. I still have some friends over there with the organization. The trainers that were there when I was there, they're still there. Carlin and I forgot his name, but yeah, he's still there.
So you were rooting for them then?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Okay.
I wanted them to win. Yeah, I love the Pacers. Yeah, every team I play for, I have no.
You have a favorite?
I would say the Bulls, just because of the city, and we were #1 in the league twice in a row. But I mean, the Warriors gave me my shot, so I got to go with them too.
Let me throw this at you then. Favorite restaurant in Chicago? They have some good eats in Chicago.
Ooh, I like Chicago Cuts.
Chicago. What is that?
It's a steakhouse right
Okay.
on the water. I went there after the games all the time. So
Okay, that sounds like a good take. I haven't been. I wouldn't know.
yeah.
I've gone. I went to the Girl and the Goat in Chicago. I had
Mhm.
some deep dish pizza somewhere popular, but that's where I'm going next. Chicago Cuts.
Chicago cuts. Try RPM
Okay.
Italian. Sunda if you like sushi.
Ooh, okay. I haven't
Yeah,
heard. See,
I'm a foodie, so I like food.
oh, so that was a good question for you then. So these are
Yeah.
good recs. Okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna take notes and I'll go there next. But you end up going. It was the Magic, 2015. After that, right?
Yeah.
How did injuries were part of that chapter, right?
Yeah.
How did it change that time for you?
Uh, I just really wanted to go there and be like another, like same thing I've been doing at every other team. Come off the bench, be a spark. But injuries happened, and it was a younger team. So we didn't really do as well as we thought we would. We thought we'd make the playoffs or make a push at the playoffs, but like I said, just injuries, youth, it just kind of happened.
After that, you go to play in Turkey.
Mm.
10 years in the league was enough. You don't want to just hang it up. Why? How do you still have the drive to go to Turkey and keep playing?
I feel like I still had a little more in the tank. I don't know, but maybe I was just and I actually got injured over there too, so that's why I had to come back. But yeah, I loved it. I did actually sightsee more. I went out to like museums and stuff like that. Like I said, the first time I went to overseas, I just stayed in my apartment, so I was a little younger too and older at this point, so definitely appreciated just life and seeing another country that I probably never would have went to on my own. So it was cool just to kind of experience that.
During your time overseas, did you have a moment of gratitude where you kind of thought like, all right, I went from undrafted to a decade-long career in the NBA.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. It just really doesn't happen often.
Yeah, more so I think about it now than anything. Like when people bring it up, because I've never honestly think about it because I'm so worried about what I need to do next, or making sure my kids are straight, or make sure they're doing what they need to do in school and whatever sport, whatever they want to do in life. So yeah, but now I think about it a little more. I never thought about it before. Just now I'm just more grateful, and people are like, yeah, you played 10 years in the NBA. I'm like, oh yeah, I did. Yeah, you're right.
Do you have a favorite story from your years in the league? Favorite moment, memory, anything?
One of my favorite memories is playing against Kobe. He was my favorite player growing up. He was like my Michael Jordan. So in high school, one of the coaches compared me to Kobe, said I was like a Kobe Bryant type, which I didn't really understand at the time. But then once again, playing against him, wearing his shoes, and then he wrote they did an article on him maybe a couple years ago, right before he passed, about guys changing his shoes, because I had his shoes, but I would put them in our team colors, and he said he didn't like that. So it was crazy because I never knew that before. But just to hear him say that about someone, and it was actually me. So he didn't like me wearing his shoes, and well, not wearing them, but putting all the different colors on them. So because he didn't recognize they were his shoes at the time.
Oh wow!
Because I was with Nike too, so I just with Nike ID them and put my name and stuff on them and my number.
Did you ever have a moment where it was a little surreal? Like you're like, this is my idol, and now someone who was once my idol is now my opponent.
Yeah, it was crazy just playing against him and him, like, giving me props, and not even him, just other people too. Like I really looked up to Mo Williams too. He was a good point guard in the NBA, and him saying he liked my game and just getting props from your peers, I think is more admiring than just the regular casual fan. I think that when your peers admire you and say that you're doing something good, it means you're doing something well.
When I was preparing for this interview, I got deep in a Reddit thread where you have some fans on there, and they were talking about how you've mentioned you visualize before games, how you want games to go. When did that start for you? When did you think about that mental side of it?
I think maybe like in Chicago, I started doing yoga, just meditating more, and just taking time just to recover. Like I said, I was hurt a lot that year, so I was trying to do things to figure out what can help me stay healthy and stuff like that. So yoga was a big part of that, just meditating, and visualization was a big part of that.
So when you would visualize, what exactly would you do? What would be your process?
Just closing my eyes, taking a deep breath in a dark room, and just visualizing me making plays. I would try to visualize not turning the ball over, not missing free throws, or not, just doing things that I practice on, making open threes or on certain plays, making certain reads and stuff like that.
Last question for you. If you could relive one game, one moment in your NBA career, what would it be?
It's tough. I would say the very first NBA game I got a chance to play in.
Just to relive those emotions again?
Yeah, because it was the first time I put on the NBA jersey, first time I've been to an NBA game. Seeing my name on the back of a jersey, flying private, going on the bus to the game, like just all those little things that people don't see or, kind of, I wouldn't say appreciate, but just don't see. And that's kind of what I kind of would relive. I had to relive it all over.
Who did you play in that game?
Portland Trailblazers. I had 11 points. Wow. We got blown out.
But you got your 11, though.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I played so much. That was my first game ever.
You got your 11, though. That's all that matters.
For sure, yeah.
Thank you so much for coming by, CJ.
No,
we appreciate it.
Thank you.